What's going on YouTube? It's a No Level Cap podcast, and on this week's episode, we'll be giving our first impressions on the 2026 summer anime season.
Yo, welcome back to the No Level Cap podcast, where we cover all things anime, all things gaming, all things nerd culture with none of the BS. I am your host, Sage Ashford. These are my co-hosts, Devin Butts, Rakeem Beck, Terrence Flowers, and Will Coleman. Like Devin said, this week we are diving into the summer anime season once again. This time, last time we did our previews, we talked about the shows we were excited to see. It's been a few weeks. We're at the midway point, close to the back half of July. At this point, everything's come out, so we have a chance to talk about everything we've seen, talk about what we liked, what we didn't like. I don't want to waste no time because we've got a lot of episodes. I got a chance to look at everything that y'all were talking about. We've got a lot of shows to get through. So, Terrence, why don't you tell us about Goodbye, Lara?
This one is very interesting. We looked at this during our summer anime preview. This one is based off of The Little Mermaid, and not necessarily like Disney's Little Mermaid, but the actual, like, what would you say, like fairy tale?
Oh, yeah.
Of The Little Mermaid. So this anime is it's an anime original, first off, so it's not based off of any pre-existing manga or anything like that. I guess you could say it is based off of the fairy tale, but other than that, it is an anime original, so there's no like laid out plan for it. And after the first episode, it is completely original. How the first episode goes is it pretty much follows the structure of the Little Mermaid story, where the title character Lara, she's born to the Sea King. The Sea King has a bunch of daughters, and Laura's different in that she has this interest in the human world, and the Sea King has this rule for his kingdom that nobody is allowed to interact with the human world. To them, humans are they're ugly in the sense of they can't be trusted. I guess ugly physically and ugly in the sense of
on the inside,
they will do our people harm. Yeah. And Lara, she just doesn't buy that. And there's one day where a ship is on fire on the surface, and she sees it, and the prince that was on that ship, he starts to drown, and she rescues him. And then the king finds out about it, and he punishes Lara by putting her in like a little prison just to kind of like reflect on what you did, so to speak. The equivalent of Ursula for the story is this sea witch named Grace. She's Lara's aunt, I guess the Sea King's sister. Like, they don't quite explain the relationship between the two. There's a point where she shows up to the castle, to the Sea King, and like disguised, and he sees through her disguise, and he's like, what are you doing here? You were banished. And it turns out that it was all kind of like smoke and mirrors how she was there, so she was able to escape. But anyway, she approaches Lara with a proposition about, hey, I can turn you human if you just drink this formula, but you have to find your first love. And the story follows the same way as The Little Mermaid, like the actual fairy tale, not the Disney tale, where she does fall in love with, she goes to the surface after being turned into a human, and she does fall in love with the prince there, but she does eventually get reverted back into mermaid form, and the prince sees that, she's in this form, and he's like, you're a mermaid. You were a mermaid all along. You can't be trusted. And so she starts to realize that maybe humans were maybe the way that her father described, but she's like, but I still love him. And the twist here is that she does die, but at the end of the episode, she is reborn 200 years later, and this time her family have all been put to sleep by the witch, and the only way for her to save them, I guess, is to find true love again. And so she's catapulted back to the human world in our time, 2026. And I guess she has to, I assume the point is to find like the descendant of the prince and try and fall in love with him. I think that's what the point of it is. They don't explain at the end, but I can only assume that's where the story is going. So I watched the first episode. It is very beautifully animated. The art style is very good. We talked about how it reminded us of like those older like 70s, 80s anime that used to adapt fairy tales back then. I think this one has a lot of promise to it. I saw a lot of people talking about it online, saying that this was one of their favorite first episodes of the season, and I'm curious to see where it goes. So I think that I'll stick with it. But yeah, if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it if any of that sounds interesting to you, especially if you're a fan of The Little Mermaid.
Yeah. I was pretty. This one did stick out to me. I didn't have the chance to check it out, but I know Kinema Citrus is well known for doing like some of the most beautiful looking anime out there. If I'm not mistaken, they did review Starlight, which is one of my favorite animes. So they're a very talented studio, so I'm not surprised that they did a great job here. And it's always great to have like a good new original anime because we don't get that many of them anymore. Everything's an adaptation of a manga or a manhwa or a video game or a light novel or something like. So even if it's pulling from Little Mermaid, it's only kind of doing that because like once you get past the basic conceit, it's like, all right, man, we doing our own thing now. This is completely different ideas. So I like that. Next up, this is technically multiple people's choice, but this was the one anime I think that was watched by the most people. So young ladies don't play fighting games. Will, why don't you lead us off and then the rest of y'all can join in.
Okay, so truthfully, a good chunk of us in here have history with fighting games as a whole, so immediately gravitated towards it to see exactly what it is. We knew the manga been out all the time, and the infamous "Let's fucking go" panel from there with the young lady with the fight stick. Yeah, that's what we talk about right now. So basically, show starts off. You're in this all-girl school. Everything is prim, proper, pristine, but you got this character here that seems like she's a little out of place here, but she's trying her best to be quote unquote a lady here. Until she meets Miss Popular, Miss White Lily, meet her, and come to find out after school she's been playing Street Fighter 6 somewhere in a random room, somewhere on a random wing, going off, just playing her best for you. And then we learned that our main character also has a history with fighting games, and she's been on it since Ultra Street Fighter 4. She practically is an 09er, if you will.
Yeah.
Yep, she definitely was.
Yeah. She's practically an 09er, and from then on, it unleashes pure unadulterated fighting game energy of two people competing, footage of the fighting game itself, even giving us slight little history lessons about what came from where within the monologues. They showed us what an FADC looked like in the first episode, and it put a smile on my face from ear to ear because I'm like, oh my god, I remember learning how to do an FADC with Devin and Keem and Terrence and everybody in here playing fighting games. I remember doing that with people on campus. So I'm just sitting here like, this show is for me. This is targeting me. I love this show so far. Like, I've never had too many shows catch me at the first episode and just be like, you gonna stay here and you gonna like your stay. And so far, I am enjoying my stay with this show. So shout out to Young Ladies Don't Play Fighting Games. It's really awesome.
Yeah, this one's pretty cool. I enjoy what I watched of this one. I think the biggest thing I like from this one is just like the rivalry that is made between the White Lily and the other girl that caught her playing fighting games. It's weird because at first you thought she didn't know how to play fighting games, but she did say Street Fighter 6. I'm like, oh, she has to know something about it. And even the girl was like, wait a minute, you said Street Fighter 6, I heard you. And it's like, but you couldn't see the screen, so you know the game from sound. So I know you play Street Fighter. I'm like, yeah, if you can tell the game from the sound, like, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I do like the fact that, just like Will mentioned, they actually show and explain certain things. Because if you're not really familiar with fighting, like, you can be familiar with fighting games, but there's like levels to it. There's a different level further. Like, there's a vernacular that's used in fighting games that if you say to the regular civilian person, they're gonna be like, "What are you talking about? What is a meaty? What is a frame trap? What's a chicken block? I don't know. Is it a block of chicken that you freeze?" Like, there's so many terms that mean stuff in fighting games, but if you don't know anything, you'll just be like, you're just speaking like just gibberish. They talked about they show like Will say the FADC stuff. It's funny when they first played each other. The chick that sat down was actually really good, and she's like, "Wait, is she a scrub?" I was like, "This is." I'm like, this is funny. But what I like about it is the fact that, like, shout out to my boy Dupree. We have went at it in fighting games a lot. Certain games like Street Fighter 5, we play the same character and we always played against each other. Marvel 3, and it reminded me of that rivalry. Like, instead of her being like, "Oh, I got cooked, I'm just stopped playing," she's like, "Nah, I need some more of this." And she actually got a lot better really fast. So it goes to show you, like, having a good training partner can actually help you a lot. And also being humble enough to be like, you know what? Because we've all seen it in our hometown. You'll see the person, "Man, can't nobody beat me in XYZ game." And you be like, "Man, in my hometown, shoot, can't nobody beat me. So I know I'm the guy." And you go somewhere else, you be like, "Man, I got this." And you get cooked. You be like, "Huh.
Yep.
That's weird." But it's just like, at your whatever your area is, your level, you're gonna be only as good as the people that are around you. And if you experience somebody else that has more knowledge is better, you're like, "Oh, I didn't know it's possible." So I think my favorite thing about the show is just showing like that rivalry and how it intensifies and each person gets better bouncing off each other. So I'm liking the first episode so far. I hope that I know, like, from the trailers we saw, like, I think they go to like a tournament and stuff like that. So I'm really interested to see, like, do they find other players to play fighting games, which is actually really cool, because let's be real, in the fighting game community, it's dominated by men. Like, in terms of like the demographic, it's mostly men. There are some women that play fighting games. There's some really good ones that play fighting games. So I'm always happy to see when they can get in and they actually like it. Because sometimes it can be a little unwelcoming to women, and I get it, they don't want to, but to see a woman playing fighting games is dope because you don't see it too often. But so I hope that we get like other girls in this show that play games and they can like make a group or something like that. So, but I'm just enjoying it so far.
You know, I always enjoy the anime that are young ladies don't blank. And this is another good entry in that, where you have like young ladies don't play rock and roll, young ladies don't do this, don't do that. And this one is a fun one because, like both of you have mentioned, it highlights the niche of fighting games, and this is just a really cool one to see. And like you mentioned about how the fighting game community can be unwelcoming to women, that is something that is not explicitly talked about, but the main character, she does talk about how she was the only one out of her friend group that was the girl playing fighting games.
Street Fighter 4.
And, you know, she was seen as like the typical tomboy. And funny enough, when it got to a certain point where she was like the best out of like her school or the best out of like her friends, like the guys kind of just moved on to something else. They went on to playing soccer, and she was like, "Are you kidding me?" And so she kind of just felt left behind. So she just quit fighting games because she was like, "You know what? I want to be like a proper young lady." And there's even a quote that said in the show, "Do young ladies FADC into reuse Ultra One?" I promise. As soon as I saw that quote, I was like, "All right, this show's got me hooked like instantly."
She
with
said,
that
"Do young
line.
ladies do a crouching medium kick confirm into a fireball?" I'm like, brother.
Yeah.
I was like, "You speaking my language."
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, those first 2 episodes, they got me. I want to get into some fighting games again. And you know me,
I promise you, no.
I've been kind of like off and on with fighting games as of late, and this I think might actually get me back into it. So yeah, definitely shout outs to this show. Like, if anything that we've mentioned so far sounds interesting about it, please, like, if you are a fighting game fan, please check it out. It is 100% worth your time.
Another anime that a lot of us have on our list, or at least 3 of us have on their list. I'm gonna let Rakeem take the lead on this one. Black Torch.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, Black Torch, interesting kind of shonen style anime. You have a protagonist. You start off, he's having this conversation with somebody, and then you slowly realize the person he's talking to is a dog. And this character has like a Dr. Doolittle relationship with animals. And but and because of that, he's kind of been ostracized a little bit. And also, you also discover in the first episode, when you first see the character, he's talking with his grandfather, and his grandfather was like, "Yo, you know we ninjas. We gotta do ninja training at some point." He just straight up said, like, "Hey, we come this long line and just training." He kind of blows him off. Man, oh man, I don't want to hear about this. Go talk to these animals. And then later on, there's an incident where he runs into this cat creature. Turns out the cat creature isn't really a cat. It's a like a kind of Mononoke demonic kind of creature. It talks to him, and it warns him, "Hey man, you need to stay away from me because they chasing me. I just came from somewhere where they were trying to seal me off. Get away from me." But he knows that it was hurt because it was hurt when he found it, and when it got away from him, he chased after it. And in the process of chasing after it, he ends up confronting another Mononoke, which is much more dangerous, and ends up, kind of stereotypically almost dies. And then the cat creature fuses with him and, kind of becomes his like guardian spirit kind of thing going on. He's able to fight back. And then as a result, this organization that finds him and takes him in. And then that kind of shows the rest of the show as it goes on. He becomes a part of the group of that organization. They're kind of like, I don't know about this. This dude's like half human, half Mononoke. He's kind of a special case. And then you kind of uncover like there's a lot of like government shit going behind the scenes. The only one group after all these years, they show up again in another anime. This time, like passing down their history of being like the wet works behind the scenes guys to modern era Japan. Really cool shout out to people who watched Kenshin way back in the day. So that was kind of cool. And his relationship with the female character in the show, she is extremely antagonistic to this dude, not taking any of his shit. He's kind of a misogynist. He kind of is. He brings it up a lot. But she also is like one of those people who, as you watch the show, and you kind of notice that she kind of has a chip on her shoulder because she had to take up a lot of responsibility at a young age. So she don't take no shit from dudes. I've been liking some of the show. It's still very early. The character's kind of discovering how this process works. On the most recent episode, he was in captivity with this organization, on the Waban organization, in a hospital, and they're going to take him in. He leaves, and then he goes back to see his grandfather one last time before he goes off with his organization. His grandfather was like, oh, I know all about this shit because I used to be a part of that organization. And surprise to him, his grandfather was like, yeah, I can't let you go down that road. I'm gonna have to kill you. I was like, what? They get to a fight with his grandfather. It was a pretty epic fight too. I ain't gonna lie, it was a pretty good fight. Yeah, so far it's not doing anything like too super different from most shonen anime, but it's competent in what it's doing. I do like the aspect of Dr. Dolittle thing. It actually plays into the show a lot. He's able to talk to animals, and he kind of uses that to his advantage. Like there was a scene where he's trying to escape from the hospital, so there's some crows outside, like some birds, and he like basically promises the birds some food, and they come in, interrupt the hospital, help him out or whatever. He's able to use his relationship with animals to kind of like trick people and get help. So that's kind of a cool dynamic that like a lot of the protagonists don't do. But I am liking the show so far. I think it's enjoyable. Like I say, it's not doing anything super different yet. So I kind of want to watch more to see how it progresses. Cause I mean, once you watch a lot of shonen, you see the beats. You kind of know certain tropes and characterizations that show up in a lot of them. But I kind of want to see as it goes on, like Gachakuta did, how does this show differentiate itself in the long term? Because shonen anime, they kind of hit certain beats, the villain group, how they fight the villain, the power ups, all that. But like the core I want to care about is like, will I care about these characters? Now I will say in the most recent episode, they introduced another like dude in his group who is kind of like the uptight, kind of snobbish type character. And I don't know why my brain went like, oh, no, they like Jamie Foxx and Braxton of the show. Playing off, or Will Smith and Carlton playing off of each other kind of thing going on, which I thought was kind of funny. But yeah, I've enjoyed the show so much. I'm still going to watch it. I just want to watch a little bit more and see more if there's going to be more of a hook to watching.
Yeah, Black Torch for me hasn't quite got me just yet. I do think that there's something I want to continue watching it. But I will say I keep watching it and I keep getting the essence of like just a little, maybe for some reason Hunter x Hunter came to my mind, but more so Bleach. And like the beginning actually was my favorite part because it was almost a 1-to-1 of Ichigo with them guys on that bridge. And it was the same thing. He's like, hey man, I got something for y'all. And I think, didn't he call like an ambulance or something too, if I'm not mistaken? I was like, okay, I like this because that was one of the funniest moments to me in Bleach. Before they went to Soul Society and everything got crazy, he was like, hey man, we got 4 guys down here. We need an ambulance. How many people? 4. It's like, And I'm like, he just did this man just call the ambulance on people he about to run the fade with? I'm like, hey man, that's a real friend. Cause Chad could have beat all of them himself, but you know, Chad was a big, you know,
ambulance.
He's nice, dude.
For me,
big, tall, peaceful giant. And Bleach like, I got you, buddy. I got it. So I do like that they shot it. They kind of, I believe that was inspired by that. But yeah, I do want to watch more. I think it's a kind of interesting premise, the whole ninja group and stuff like that. So I'm definitely gonna keep watching it.
So I was the third person that watched Black Torch, and look, man, Rakeem said stereotype, and that is the right word because if this ain't the most generic shonen anime possible, and I mean I can rock with that sometimes. I can rock with some battle shonen that's not really doing nothing new, but 3 episodes in, and this is just a collection of a bunch of tropes that I don't really care for, or they're done in ways that don't make anything new or intriguing to me. The protagonist, the protagonist, he's okay. He's another kind-hearted delinquent type. He does remind me very much of Ichigo. Remember, we did that one video where I was like, there's like 3 isekai protagonists. I mean, 3 shonen protagonists, excuse me. There's 3 shonen protagonists. You know, you've got your Goku type, your Ichigo / Yusuke type, and your Deku / like your brainy archetype type dude. This dude's definitely more along the lines of Ichigo than any of the other ones. His partner is a dick, but it's okay because all these boys keep underrating her ability and she can really prove herself. That feels like something that should have gone out of style in 2010, but here we are. They're doing it again. No one is really especially cool. No one is especially likable so far. I don't know, like there's just nothing is this popping out at me. I do like the fact that he can talk to animals. I think I'd like it more if he talked to, like, if he was collecting Mononoke that looked like animals and they fought for him. Like, I would like that a lot more. Maybe that does happen later because I think this is a manga adaptation, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so.
So, I mean, like right now, but like at maybe that happens later, but right now it's just a generic show with some great animation. And I can get great animation a lot of places, so I'm kind of out on this. Like, I think I'm 3 episodes in, you know, that's usually the rule. Like at 3 episodes, you can decide whether or not you want to keep watching or drop it. And I'm like, hey man, I've had enough. And, you know, no offense to, I know y'all was digging it, and no offense to anybody that actually loves it. Cause I think y'all are more closer to me than someone that would be a super fan. Yeah.
I agree. I actually agree with you. Like I said, I'm still waiting for the hook. Like I'm still waiting for the hook. Like it feels like there's a setup here and there's a hook later, but it needs to get here a little faster.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It definitely hadn't grabbed me just yet. I'm like, That's why I watched the first episode and I kind of found myself like, do I want to? I was like, I don't know. I got to keep going a little bit because I don't know.
I like the first episode because it did have a lot more of him talking to animals, and that was the one unique thing about it. And I was like, okay, I could dig this. And in the second episode, I tell you what it was when they introduced the girl, and I knew everything about the girl the second I saw her, the way she was acting, the way she was treating him. I'm like, okay, so she got a sad ass backstory. She don't like the nigga. She gonna treat him like he's not human. It's like, okay, what's up, King?
I gotta talk about it. So we talk about the girl. All right, man. This is the one, man. Like, y'all had to do the butt shots. They did so many butt shots. It was ridiculous. It was like when you watch those like you watch wrestling matches and they had the female wrestlers. Yeah. And it just goes to the butt over and over again. Like, okay, I get it. She wearing the short shorts that the white girls be wearing in college. She's still wearing them in 2026. But they just kept doing it. I'm like, butt shot. I'm like, bruh, I saw it. It's
all while telling you how she's a strong female character. I'm like, okay.
I was like, what are we doing?
If anything, it would have been. I know she's not the main character, but it would have helped in that. Keem, you saw the 3rd episode, right?
Yeah, I caught up.
Okay. If anything, it would have helped in the 3rd episode if she just didn't need the protagonist's help. If she had just been like, I got it. Like, look, I told you I got it.
Like a veteran.
Like, your useless ass can't help me no way. Like, if she had a little more veteran presence, I think I could have dug it more. But I was just kind of like, I know exactly how this is going to play out. And it played out exactly how I thought. Right down to, like, we're going to give you some of her little sad-ass backstory. I'm like, I don't care about this shit. Like, we got to do something else. I don't know. Like, maybe it might be. Here's the thing. We live in a world now where there's not really that much room for, like, your 6s. There's not much room for your 6.5 to 7. Like, I can just move on. I can find 8s on the ground everywhere. Like, there's so much content now.
People writing.
exact people are writing their ass off, and it's no shortage of anime. Never mind like other hobbies. Just talk strictly about anime. There's no shortage of anime that you're going to love. And even if it's not from this season, from last season, like I've got 10 anime that I'm keeping up with right now. Well, 9 now that I dropped this one. I got 9 other anime that I'm keeping up with. And it's some anime that I didn't get a chance to get to last season. So I'm like, yeah, I'll be all right. But yeah, I'm not necessarily on Black Torch. If it gets fire, one of y'all will let me know, or the internet will let me know. So, you know.
I'll let you know. You kind of can tell too, because like when an anime is like new and really fire, it's all over the internet.
It'd be
Like
everywhere.
you mentioned Gacha Kudo.
Gotcha.
You can't miss
That
it.
was a
Like
perfect
Gacha could have
example.
got better over time. Like I was like, okay, I get the hook now. This makes sense. I see the commentary they're doing.
Kaiju number 8.
Kaiju number 8,
Kaiju
same way.
number 8.
It's crazy
Um,
because I remember
Ashley-
they were hyping this one up like months, like a year in advance. Like they've been
They did.
promoting the hell out of the anime. So it would be disappointing if it's just okay. Because
I
yeah,
did
I'm not
feel
gonna
like
lie,
when I was
you
watching
all
the
the way
first
you all are talking
episode-
about it doesn't make me want
Speaking-
to like go check it
speaking-
out.
Speaking of really good animation, just because it has good animation, I told Sage about. I actually took a look at the Heavy Night anime. I was like, "Bro, this animation is godlike. What is going on? Why did they waste on this box standard isekai?"
I ain't gonna lie. There weren't a lot of anime that I watched this season that had particularly great animation.
Yeah.
Like some of them just like the animation is just at best.
Serviceable, which
Yeah,
makes sense
just
because it's so
serviceable.
much. It's so
True.
much anime.
I know I just talked about Black Torch, but let me go ahead and get through this one right quick.
Mhm.
One of the ones that I saw that I really fucked with was Cat and the Dragon.
Okay.
That show's so fucking wholesome. It is exactly what it
yeah.
was when we did the preview. A baby dragon, he's taken in by this cat, but it's not just any cat. He's taken in by a magical Kate Sith, and the Kate Sith is like, just like the ultimate Japanese mom. Like, if you've seen enough anime and certainly enough J-drama, you know, like the overbearing Japanese mother, but she's really still kind of polite, but she can get controlling and get in your ass when she feel like she got to. And so like she's raising the kids, and then like it's just like a cat. Like, okay, well, once I've raised you to like the point where I feel like you can take care of yourself, I'm gonna leave. And so like she raised her little group of kids, and she was like, all right, I'm all as she was getting ready to leave, as they were getting ready to leave the nest, suddenly she gets summoned away. Like someone literally casts like a summoning spell and turns her into a familiar, and so she just kind of leaves. And so the dragon is left by himself, and he's like, it takes him some years before like he gains the ability to talk to spirits, and the spirits are like, you ain't no cat, you a dragon. Like, what are you doing? He was like, what do you mean I'm not a cat? I was raised by cats. Like, okay, but you still a dragon. And so like he's like, oh well, I mean, I guess I'll just keep watching over cats. And so like he becomes like the patron saint of cats in that realm. Anytime a cat, like the magical cats, they come back to that one cave that he was raised in, he just stays in the cave and just keeps looking after him. And like, baby, they like, can we have our kids? He like, yeah, sure. And he just looks after him. And there is just enough hint of danger. Like, this show is just the right mix of cute without being too saccharine. There's a point in the series or in the first episode where like he's looking after cats. He's thinking he's doing a great job, and he goes around in the forest and finds out that a group of random adventurers just killed a shit ton of his cat brothers and sisters. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, is this for food? Like, and like the spirits that he learned to talk to are like, nah, that's not for food. Humans just do this sometimes for the furs. And he was like, not no more, they don't. And so he immediately kills all the adventurers and then goes to the nearest big kingdom and it's just like, hey, I just want to let y'all know. I know y'all don't be eating them cats, so stay the fuck away from them. Like, if it was for food, I would get it, but that's not what y'all doing. Y'all just bullshitting. So if I see y'all hurting any cats, I'm going to come back here and burn this whole motherfucker down. And he just does that, and it just dips out. And then after that, like, a cat comes to the city, and they like, they kind of wary of cats after that. They're like, hold on now, if you came from that forest, like, stay the fuck away from us. We ain't trying to get fucked up by this big-ass dragon. And one of the cats just becomes a friend with like the prince of the country, and he teaches the prince how to use magic because the prince just kind of fucking sucks at magic. And so he teaches him how to use magic. He's like, hey man, I kind of want to stay here. And he has to talk to the king. Like, the prince has to talk to the king, his dad, and the dad's like, I mean, if the dragon won't fuck us up, I mean, I guess you can stay here. And then the dragon has to talk to the cat has to talk to the dragon, and the dragon is like, I mean, I don't really trust these humans, but I mean, if you want to stay here, I guess. And so it becomes like a partnership where they like, hey man, I mean, you know, if the cats is cool, we cool with them, we cool. And so like there's that little level of happiness there. There's like some light world building. It's more of like an anthology. It shows how these magical cats affect everyone around them. Like the second episode is about the mom, and it shows you what happens to her after she gets teleported away. Funniest shit ever. She just becomes like a magic teacher to a little mage girl that has no confidence in herself, and she teaches her how to build up her confidence and to become more talented at spells, like to learn how to increase her magic ability. The third episode is about this cat that falls in love with like the idea of being an adventurer, and then eventually he just casts a spell on himself, turns himself into like a human cat hybrid, like a cat boy, and he's like, hey man, I'm gonna go out here and be an adventurer. And so like I just enjoy it. I'm a sucker for talking animal stuff, blaming on all the Disney cartoons and shit we watched as kids. So I have a great time with this show. I know the fourth episode is coming out later today. Can't wait on it. So let's see. Devin, why don't you and Rakeem tell me about this Iron Wok Jan?
Man. Now Devin's watched a little more than me, but man, this is like it's not like Food Wars, because Food Wars is almost like porn. This is more like, man, the competition of cooking. Like it's, so Iron Wok Jan starts off where you're in this already like established restaurant, and they have this young girl, and she's kind of like up and coming, and she's kind of getting praised for her dishes and her performance lately. It's a family-run business. Her grandfather owns it. Her father's like the head chef, and she works under them. And they're working, and she's basically getting, and like they're talking about how much pride they have in her and like her accomplishments that she's made. And as they close of business one day, dude walks in, hat on. He said, "Give me some fried rice." Hey man, we about to close. He said, "I don't care about nothing about that. Give me some fried rice." I was like, all right, man. In the back, somebody at the table said they want some fried rice by the close. Man, just make the fried rice. They bring him out that fried rice. He come in the back. He said, "Who made this fried rice?" "I did." Garbage. He opens a trash can, pours it out, and they did. It's so epic. What I love about this anime, anything with food is all of it's epic. He poured the food in the trash. They make it epic. Multiple camera cuts. He'll throw it in the trash. Roll the sleeves up. "I'm gonna show you how to make fried rice." And that's how you introduce to John. Basically, he comes in, gets that the fried rice. He said, "Nah, trash." And his gimmick throughout the whole show so far is that he can't have nobody outdo him. He gonna make the best dish. He goes in there, he makes his own version of fried rice. He feeds the people. They like, he using tofu in fried rice, and he has like a really cool technique he uses with it. One thing he likes to do is seem like he uses techniques and stuff from other cultures and kind of out there ideas for how he makes his dishes. And then as he makes a dish, people are like, "Oh, this is really fucking good. This is actually really good." So, and then when you find out at that point, the restaurateur, the person who owns it, John was sent there by his grandfather, who had recently passed away, to study under them. And he has, when I tell you, that dude has no respect for anybody, bro. He's scowling at all times. He talking bad shit. He always looking at people with a cold glare. And he gets into with like the young lady introduced in the beginning, who's like the daughter of the restaurant owner. After she makes this one dish, I forgot what the dish was, but she made this one dish, and it was really well made, but it was like a gamey meat, and she had like found a way to like reduce the smell and taste down from being so gamey and make the dish better. John like, trash. I could do it better. He goes in there. He uses some crazy technique. He was like, "See, the first problem was you were scared of the gaming meat. Nah, embrace it. Embrace it. Do all the loud shit." And then he gets into it with her. He just gets into it with everybody because he's just very confrontational. I liked what I watched. I've only seen the first episode. Jevin's watched up to date. And I got to say, man, he makes a hell of a first impression. You could tell he is not the typical protagonist. Restaurant anime aren't uncommon, but they're also not, super prevalent. So it is cool to get another one. And I think this direction, where it feels like almost like Iron Chef, like everything feels like a versus. And there's a lot of pressure on them to make the best dishes among their peers who are also chefs, and do certain things. And then John being so combative and competitive, and just not the typical protagonist. Like he's abrasive. He's not nice. I mean, of course that can change. I only saw like the first episode, but I want to see what Devin has to say about what he's watched so far.
Man, when we preview this, I was like, yeah, I gotta watch this because I mean, it looked like it was full of energy. I think that synopsis might have been a little incorrect though, because I remember it saying like, or describing him as being like a overconfident cook, but he couldn't cook. So that's what I was expecting. I could be wrong, but I thought that's what the synopsis said when we watched. Was it on my anime list?
When we was on live chart.
Live chart, yeah. I could be wrong, but I could have sworn I thought this synopsis said he was like, he has this air about him, like he's such a good cook, but he can't cook. But it's like, with everything I've seen is like he cooks and is actually good. So maybe there was like a mistranslation or something there. But yeah, he's first of all, he looks like Kazuya with a buzz cut, because he got the fangs, you know, that typical like character, like kind of devious look with the fangs, and he got the crazy looking eyes, and his eyebrows look all like him. I'm like, bro, you like a villain, bro. I don't know if I want to come in here and eat from you cooking something like. But yeah, he's sent to that restaurant by his grandfather. He's part of Akiyama family, and they're like that's the name in cooking. So like he comes from a line of people that's like, hey, bro, if you that name, then he was like apparently like the master of Chinese cooking, like he mastered it or something like that. So it's like you get that type of title, it's like, all right, bro, like what else we supposed to do? The second, it's really kind of like the bear a little bit, because there's like tensions. There's one dude that he's like apparently he's always like when Jan shows up, he's talking trash to everybody, but this one dude in particular, like, man, you a third-rate cook with a fourth-rate spatula, bro. So shut up. So but he's always like frowning. So there's like some tensions between, of course, him and the girl, because she's a prodigy. It's like she's the one that's like, the restaurant is going to be hers. Like she's the best cook they got. Like anytime somebody comes and wants something, it comes through her. She's a cook. The second episode starts out literally a game show. They're on like an Iron Chef type thing. And they introduced this character. I forgot what his name is, but he's like this overbearing, loathsome food critic that apparently has the ability. He can critique food just by smelling it and seeing it. Like apparently, people say he has like a golden palate. And the guy that's over the restaurant, he's like, man, the guy's a fraud. Like, yeah, he got a golden palate, but he really don't know food like that. It's just somehow he got this ability to do this, and he just, So they brought, like, the show was going on. They brought out some food. He just looked at it and like, oh, I've already tasted. Like, dang, like you ain't gonna even taste the food. Like, I don't have to. I smelled it, and I looked at it, and I already like, nah, this ain't it. I'm like, dang. So the episode continues later on. They get word at the restaurant that he's coming to that restaurant. They like, oh my, they like scrambling and scraping, talking about, oh man, we got to get everything ready. So they're trying to figure out what to cook and who's gonna cook it. So her grandfather, or father, he gets sick. So he gets like a cold. He's like, I'll do it, but he gets sick. So now it's up to the girl and Jan well, it's like a group thing, but it's mainly them two doing the dish. And there's this whole thing of course, like Jan, everything's a competition, like every single thing. But then you get backstory in the second episode to see why he's the way he is now. He's been trained to cook since he was like 10 years old. He's like 16 now. It even gave him like he got a one punch man moment where he actually cut his hair like to the low buzz cut. He had like regular hair at first. But he went, like, if you see what he went through, you almost kind of like, you know what? I kind of see why you are the way you are. Like it showed him, like with Akiyama, the grandfather, showing him how to cook and teach him techniques, and like he's cooking and whipping the stuff up, and the dish that he was serving this food critic, and the grandfather just pushed him into like this. There's these like wooden stacks of thing where you steam stuff in. He just pushed him on it with his walking stick and just held him there. I'm like, brother, that's hot. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, I get it. You went through 5-6 years of this, and the dude was just like horrible to him. I'm like, man, which is actually interesting because cooking is actually kind of a rough thing when you get into like the real chef. And there's some people,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's the culinary arts and it's very like high profile when you get up to the Michelin stars and all this. So there are some unbearable people in this industry. And I've seen people like even on the Bear, like that was his whole thing. He's like, he got out of there because he's like the people
was
that was over him.
traumatized.
He's like, I can't, like, this is ridiculous. I can't do this. Like, he's like, it's in the army or something. So that's a reality of that level of cooking and anything really. But yeah, it's a really good show. I'm liking it. I knew I would. The intro was fire. And the intro had me bumping. I was like, oh man, they got good music and good food. Let's go. Of course, it's a food anime, so the food is very well animated. It looks so ridiculously good. So yeah, I'm very excited to see more of this show, and I'm glad that it's actually pretty good because I think it's based off a manga from like '95. So
Yeah.
this little devil-eyed eyebrow guy, I'm ready to see him cook some more, man.
One thing I really also liked at the end of the first episode, they actually like at the end they just do a callback. They're like, look, this is a manga from they did a cutaway. Like, look, we adapted this manga from 1995. This is a highly acclaimed manga. We try to do it justice. Like we putting respect on this manga's name. It's a big deal. They show like its history and like what it did. And they just gave like a 2-minute segment. Like, hey, this is an adaptation of this legendary manga. We try to knock it out the park, basically. Like, we try to kill this. All right, so we're gonna give y'all a show, basically. Yeah.
I mean,
Even
you know
in
what?
the intro,
I respect that.
even in the intro, they got like panels from the manga, like in the intro, like where they edited. So I thought that was pretty cool.
There are a lot of anime from the 90s or manga from the 90s that are getting adaptations or readaptations, like Magic Knight Rayer that starts up, I think, this fall. Red River is a popular action shoujo manga that came out this season. Next season is another popular shoujo manga in From Far Away. There's just a lot of like 90s stuff getting adaptations, and I think there was someone that worked in the anime industry that said like one of the trends you should expect to see over the next year or two is a lot of 90s stuff either coming back or getting another adaptation. So I mean, it's cool to get some of that stuff. Anime doesn't suffer from a lack of quality shows because, like I was saying earlier, there's so much anime. However, there are part of the problem with there being a ton of anime is that a lot of it sucks. And so, like, even if there's 20 good anime every year or more, there's 40 that suck. And so, to me, I would rather you go back and grab a remake something from the 90s or the 80s, or adapt some manga from the 90s or the 80s that never got a chance to get an adaptation and give us some more quality. Better that than hey man, we're gonna adapt what's one of them ones? The one with the dude, he was like, I was Look, now I'm Lock, or whatever the fuck this like. Hey, we don't need no more of that bullshit. Cut that off. Will, why don't you go ahead and tell us about that kaiju girl that transformed into a giant kaiju every time she get excited?
Okay. So I didn't get a chance to catch number one episode of this one. But okay, so the way the show kind of starts off is that you're basically at her because she's treated like the little outcast weirdo of the school that she's at. She's treated like that a lot. But then you start kind of seeing her backstory from the start about how she is. Like her parent, I guess you'd say, or handler, whichever way you want to look at it, it's kind of treat her and be like, look, you can't really just go out and play with other kids like that. I'm all you have right here. Like, I care about you, but I can't let you go out there with them because of what may happen. But then during that flashback, she gets out, a couple kids see her and be like, hey, let's throw the ball around, let's have a little fun. She gets the ball, catches it, and then out of nowhere, those spikes start protruding out of her back, and they was like, what's that on your back?
Get your weird
What's
ass
that?
Christmas.
And they took off from her, and then after that, she just kind of been like kind of socially isolated for a good chunk of her life because of what can happen if her emotions get a little too high, and it now defines her school life now because she is treated as a weirdo. They call her little Psycho-chan or a Minhera, that if you know, if you've heard of that. But they call her that because of how she acts around everyone else. But there's this one guy in class that everyone loves. And you know how they usually go. It's Mr. Popular, Mr. Blonde hair and whatever color eyes you can attach to him. It's him. He's sparkly. He's handsome. He's on these sports teams. He's everywhere. The girls want to take pictures of him in class before class start. He's that guy. But he treats her well. He sees her drawing on the stairwell one day and was like, hey, let me see what you're drawing. Oh, you're actually really good at this. She got all these different colors, this, that, and the third, but she hadn't used none of them on none of her drawings because she say her world is only gray and that's all she knows. Which I'm just like, that's a little dark in his own little way to say that. She was like, my world's just gray. I can't use the colors because I don't know how to experience nothing else. Because if I do, that's trouble for y'all. So, yeah. So, but Mr. Handsome decides to be like, hey, let's go to this place you like. You want those pancakes? I seen you like that. Let's go. They go out, have a wonderful time all through the evening. He holds her hand walking across the street because he's seen the little mean girl click back there like, oh my God, he's with her? I gotta tell everybody. Oh my God. They walk across the street and then she runs away from him after letting go of hands and she falls into the water. And when she falls into the water, what don't come back up is her, but the monster comes up. And now she's looking around the whole city. And she's just like, I feel like I'm the ugliest person in the room right now. And I can't explain why. But then she spot him. She spots the guy she's been hanging out with all day. She looks him in the face and be like, why he looking at me like that? Why? But after that whole transformation scene of her like trying to escape being on the news, comes out of the water, her handler finds her. Shout outs to her handler's little dog. His name Jumbo King. Like he like literally like the size of a Pomeranian, but his name Jumbo King. I like it. But yeah. But at the end of it all, she comes out of the water in her normal form, wakes up at home, has breakfast, and her hand's like, hey, have these pancakes, enjoy these pancakes, but don't look at the TV. Do not touch the TV. Her ass look at the TV and be like, I did that? And then that's where the episode ends and we get heavy metal Japanese music, which I fucking love too. So yeah, as of right now, it's a really cute show in its own little way, but it's funny as hell too because she's trying to avoid transforming because during the hand-holding scene I mentioned, as she's walking across the street with him, part of her hand transformed in that moment. And she didn't know it till she looked at her hand and was like, no, you weren't supposed to see that or know that I did that. So because her heart is beating through her chest because she's with the guy that likes her or is at least, treating her very well. So yeah, it's funny to kind of watch this show and see how she's going to react to a lot of situations. I wonder how many times she's going to mess around and probably destroy a part of the city because she got too flustered about her little man that she done finally got. But we'll see.
She's like the Hulk with love.
Man, we thought Rogue had problems.
That's a really good way to put it. That's a really good way to put it. It's like the Hulk, but oh my God, I love him.
Terrence, tell us about Science Saru's Ghost in the Shell, man.
This one is obviously one of the most anticipated anime of the season, and for good reason. I mean, Ghost in the Shell is legendary from the film to the standalone complex anime. That being said, do not go into this expecting the same type of tone as either of those. This is completely different. And before any purists come after me, yes, I know this is based on the manga. But yeah, this is very different from how we've normally seen Ghost in the Shell. If you're familiar with the movie, just Ghost in the Shell in general is very much like a cyberpunk, Blade Runner-esque type of show that, the movie, you have the movie, and then you have the actual TV series, standalone complex, which that one kind of acts as more like a procedural, kind of like a Law and Order in a sense, where every episode kind of has like its own case going on, but there is an overarching story. Specifically with the first season, it's the Laughing Man. I think the second season focuses on someone different. Maybe it still focuses on Laughing Man, but I can't remember.
Individual 11.
Okay, so it is different.
It was a different arc, yeah.
Okay, I thought so. Because it was standalone complex second gig. But yeah, just the tone, like Ghost in the Shell, like the movie and the TV series, they take themselves very seriously. There's no like real like goofball moments with it. Outside of the Touchcoma, who they have their little like anime-isms to them, but outside of that, it is a very serious show and movie. This one, there's a lot of goofy moments with it. It is very much I don't even know what to compare it to. It's just
it feels a lot more like a 90s manga from that era, like the typical comedy that comes with a lot of 90s anime.
Yeah, that would be the best way to describe it. I guess I say all that to say is that really temper your expectations, because going into it, if you are expecting the way you're used to Ghost in the Shell, you're not going to get that. This definitely has a much more lighthearted tone. It still has cases. Like, they are actually dealing with very serious subject matter. There's one episode where they essentially have like all these children that are being put to work, and the unit is there to try and find out more about what's going on and break it up. But they do all that while also having like jokes. The main character, Motoko, the major, she is a lot more lighthearted and not as serious as what she was in the TV series and in the movie. Her people who are part of the unit, like Bato, Saito, and Tokusa, and some of the others, they're also very lighthearted in their ways too. Like the first time that they all link up, they get to see like the majors, I guess, like part of her memories, and they all kind of like start like snickering and whatnot, like, hey, we know what you got going on. And she's like, oh, this is why I don't like other people being inside my head. And you have like your typical like 90s anime blushes going on, and like the teardrops going down the foreheads and everything. It is really funny, and it's all really animated quite well. The art style, man, like Science Saru, they really nailed the 90s aesthetic with it. I say it and Goodbye Laura really have that 90s look nailed down this season. The show looks great. The show looks great, and it animates very well. I liked it. I guess I would say, as someone who is used to Ghost in the Shell being one way, it's very weird to see it be like the polar opposite. And I do want to continue with it, but I don't know. I don't quite know how to feel about it. Like, it is good, but at the same time, it's just not what I'm used to. And I'm just having to try and shed that preconceived notion of what I think Ghost in the Shell is, and just focus on the fact like, hey, this is different, or this is what it originally was, because this is what the manga was originally, and what we got for the movie and the TV series, they were the ones who are completely different. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of when the difference between the 90s Sailor Moon anime and the new Sailor Moon anime.
Crystal?
Yeah, Sailor Moon Crystal, where Crystal is based off the manga, and you would think that it being in its purest quote-unquote form that more people would like it, but more people really like the 90s Sailor Moon than they do Crystal.
This is more of an opposite thing from what I've seen online. This one, like, Crystal started, like, basically everybody saw Crystal and were like, fuck this. But it's more accurate to the manga. Fuck that. Fuck the manga. If I want the manga, I'll read it. For Ghost in the Shell, the anime, it's caused like a schism where some people are like, oh, this is kind of fun. Why'd they strip all the personality and cool and like the humor out of it to make that 90s anime? I've seen like an argument going back and forth where some people are like, yeah, but the movie was good. It was a good movie, like Mamoru Oshii's original Ghost in the Shell movie, which we did a review, by the way. If you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. Yeah. Great film. But like they were like, yeah, the movie was good, so it doesn't matter what they stripped away to make it. And then there are other people that are like, no, like this is great. Like the Major has so much more personality versus her being so stoic in both the film and in Standalone Complex. So it's been interesting to see. I don't know what the difference is. Maybe because Ghost in the Shell never had that kind of fervent fandom that Sailor Moon has. Yeah, it has like a more adult audience, as it were. Yeah. And so like there aren't as many people that are like going like ripping it to shreds versus Sailor Moon Crystal. Like people fucking hate it. I was like, damn, I thought this would be well beloved, but like I think not that long ago, you know how online they'll be like, it's been 10 years or since this came out. Mm-hmm. And like they did one of those for Sailor Moon Crystal, and the people was like, yeah, this shit was ass. I don't know what they made it for. I'm like, God damn, it's an accurate adaptation. Fuck that.
Yeah, and the only reason I haven't been following the Ghost in the Shell conversations because I'm just now watching the series. Maybe now I'll see what people are saying on social media, but I just made that comparison because it's one of those things where sometimes when, people always say like, oh, do it exactly the way the manga did it. That the manga gave you the map, you should follow it strictly. And
sometimes you get away with
not
that.
always
You
the right way to do it. And you are right.
Yeah.
This is the opposite case, but I'm just making that comparison because you had it where one, the anime didn't with Sailor Moon, the first one didn't look exactly like the manga, and people love that. And then you have the Crystal, which looks like the manga, and people are like, this doesn't look like the 90s anime. I don't like this at all. But I can understand there being kind of like a difference in opinion with this new Ghost in the Shell anime, because you might have those that see the movie and the TV series as the better depiction of it, and you have others that maybe see this as a truer depiction and like it more. Like you said, it does give the Major more personality, where she's not as like stoic and just very commander focused. But at the same time, I think that's also what made the movie and the TV series stand out as well, because you don't get too many female commanders. So having a character like that was no nonsense, took everything seriously, and her group was just a bunch of Bato is like this big burly man, and yet he takes orders from her no problem. And I think having a character like that is a very important thing. So maybe the thing here is that it's great that both depictions exist, like the silly like lesbian Major, and then you have the very serious no nonsense Major. So maybe it's a win on both sides.
Funny you bring up the Bato comparison, because there is a point where Bato's like, someone posted a clip from Standalone Complex where Bato's like lifting weights, and he's like buying weights again, and the Major comes out and she's like, look, man, I hate to tell you what to do with your money, but you wasting your money on this bullshit. And he's like, cool. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't you square up with me and see what happens? She's like, bet, I'll square up with you. And then like they square off, and then all of a sudden Bato is like looking, and then like Major gives this smile, and the next thing you know, Bato punches himself in the face, because in the time that they were talking and doing the square off, she hacked it and like took control of his body for a second and just knocked him clean the fuck out with that punch. It's like, all right, man.
And she does that a lot in this one. She be hacking people.
Yep. She stay hacking people. That was the one thing I did like about this. I saw the first episode, just like you haven't gotten a chance to see the second one. I do like what Science Saru is doing. They're doing their best to adapt Masamune Shiro's expressive art and world. There is, like Terrence said, a whole bunch of 90s visual lingo from anime back then, like the sweat drops and like the way that the faces, even the facial features are more like super deformed.
Like
you
the size
get that
of
a lot
the
more.
eyes.
Yeah, and like the way the faces and noses are drawn, it's like very cool, because you don't get that style anymore. So to see that throwback is very fun. But even though they have the comedy, it's also not holding back on the politics and the technology and how that can intersect. Because like Terrence said, the first episode is about a whole group of kids that are basically being treated as slaves, and like if you fight back, they'll brainwash you, and you're already kind of brainwashed because they giving you gruel and making you sing a happy song for some gruel, and like the Major's group breaks them out. Like, I thought all that was cool. Motoko Kusanagi is definitely more goofy here than what she is in Standalone Complex, and certainly more than the movie, because like Standalone Complex kind of walks the line. The Major has a lot more personality there than she does in the film.
Yeah.
But like she's super goofy, but she still has an edge to her. She's constantly, like Terrence said, hacking people. And the first episode doesn't end neatly. She's like, hey man, just because y'all are free, don't think you just gonna get something easy. Like, you need to figure this out on your own. And so like that was a very interesting way to wrap that episode up. I am curious to see what the next episode is gonna look like. I do know this isn't a long adaptation because the manga itself is not very long. I think the manga is like maybe a couple of volumes, and thus this will be, I think, 10 episodes.
Yeah, it ran from like,
Really?
if I'm not mistaken, when I saw it, it ran from like what, 89 to 91?
91.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that short.
Yeah, it was very.
Yeah, it
short.
wasn't a long. So I think that's another reason why a lot of people let it go for so long, that there wasn't a full. Because it's one thing if the if the manga ran for like a decade or some shit like Naruto, and it's like, oh, okay, I can't believe you like Akira. It's weird that Akira ran as long as it did, and all they did was just the one movie. It's like, come on, man.
That still doesn't matter. And as impactful as that movie was,
exactly,
I would have thought they would have got that adaptation out like in the mid 90s, early 90s. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, in the mid 90s, they had a different mindset, which is why, by the way, they're doing an Akira adaptation. I don't know what the status of that is right now, but I know that they announced it a couple of years ago. But in the 90s, they had a different mindset in approaching anime. The goal really was to funnel you back into whatever the source material was.
That's correct.
So sometimes they would just do an OVA or a TV show, and then when that ended, the whole point, if it ended on a cliffhanger, it's like, hey man, now go check out the light novel, go check out the manga, like go read that, go read that. Don't waste no more, because like there was only so much money you were gonna get out of an OVA, because the OVA was expensive to make. There was only so much money you were gonna get out of a TV show, because the TV show was expensive to make, and like you were really just paying for it through commercials. And now there are whole rights deals and stuff, and there's so much money to be made by just adapting the whole thing straight. And then you can still encourage people to go buy the source material anyway. So you get your money both ways. So now you get more accurate adaptations. Let's see. We've hit the hour mark. We've gone through. Let me see. I think y'all all have. Well, Devin has one left. Terrence has one left. Rakeem has two left. I have three left, but I can bring that down to two by letting Rakeem talk about the first season or the third season of Mushoku Tensei.
Man, what a wonderful season. First of all, I gotta say, like my brother J. Cole used to say, the real is back. The veil is back. Man, it felt good to watch this season, man. We already knew from the last season how that left Alpha on really a very somber note. Kind of uplifting towards the very last episode, but like before that, like a lot of dark stuff happened. So it was kind of nice to see them kind of segue into a different story for a little while. What's old girl's name, Sage? The redhead girl? Eris, thank you. Eris's story about where she left off after the end of season one, where her and Rudy's have their moment, and then she leaves to kind of find herself and better herself to before she returns back to Rudy's, and she ends up in this swordsmanship academy. And when she goes there, she's clearly already like a very good like swordsman, rough around the edges, very aggressive. And even how she goes in there and just like she introduces herself, and he said, "Hey man, you go ahead and fight one of my students." And before the boy stood up, she was on his head.
Man,
she knocked that boy
kid up.
Bro, I was like, bro, this is rough. He didn't deserve this at all. This is ridiculous, bro. And to the point where she goes to the, finally fights off with the actual head of the sword school, and he like, all right, now you see what the real shit is like. Just seeing her development this season has been great. Like the passage of time where she's constantly training. She's been ostracized because her peers don't really know what to make of her. They don't really. They see her as an outsider. See her as kind of like a wild animal, kind of like, man, she's aggressive, she's crazy. And the one young lady who you can kind of see her tide changing with her. She kind of admires her, but she doesn't want to admit it. And what the cool part is when the girl who's the daughter of the guy who runs the school asks talks her about her past, and she learns about Rudius. One of my favorite parts of this season was her literally going to find Rudius, just leaving the school. I'm like, bro, this is wild. She said, he can't be that he can't be that nigga. He can't
talking all this shit about this nigga.
Ain't no way.
Can't be that cold. It's no way. She made him up.
Like, bro, okay. She said, this can't be real. She going to tell you ever heard this dude? Man, that dude cold. Every nigga she runs, he can't be that cold, man. He did this. He did that.
Paid somebody to get information. He was like, actually, it was easy as hell to get this information. This nigga famous. Like, he been that nigga for a long time. So, I mean, I appreciate the free money, though.
Man, and also my favorite part is that she actually went to the school where Rudius was at, found him, and it turns out she was there from last season in the middle of the arc. And then part where he fought the demon dude, and she saw what he did to him, and she was like, "Oh, he is that nigga." Oh, and what's cool is like you kind of can feel like she clearly has more than just like casual feelings for Eris, and that's why she kind of feels like I can't compete with Rudy. This dude is ridiculous. This dude is that dude. I can't compete with him. So instead of like trying to compete, she kind of like, you know what? Instead of me being jealous, let me get to work like she's working, because I see her working constantly, and all I've done is like be jealous and look up stuff. Let me get out here and put some work in, and they form a friendship around trying to better each other and better themselves. Another part of the season I've really enjoyed is the sword master, when she finds out that once he finds out that they had came in contact with Orsted and they survived. And he has his own gripes with Orsted, and he's like, "Oh, you want to fight Orsted? Oh, we can make that happen." He just slowly gives her different masters, and each master fights completely differently. The first master was tricks and like more cunning, and then you have another master, the North God, and you have like what's it, the Water God? The
Water God.
Yeah, shows up. It's like, you don't fight me. You got to fight my student first, and she couldn't beat the student. But then you find out the student couldn't beat the other girl, and they realize, oh, our styles all beat each other. You can't beat Eris, I can't beat you, and Eris can't beat me. And a beautiful part of the season, they just realized, why don't we give each other advice and help each other instead of being jealous? I'm like, if only other anime could figure this out, we wouldn't have 15 episodes of bullshit where people like backstabbing it. Crazy like this. They figured this out in 30 minutes. Hey, let's go out here. They went out here and fought the wolves. Like, let's actually share information and help each other and do this and that. I think we'll be all right. I was like, I like that. Once we got done with that part, it segued back to Rudius, where he was at. Obviously, if you have seen the previous seasons, you know Rudius has gone through a lot of transformations. He's a married man now. He has 2 wives. And he's trying to go back to school now, which was hilarious because he got his second wife a job there as a teacher, and she ended up teaching his class. And all the students like, your wife is teaching this class, bro? This is wild.
A little bit.
He also lost his hand in the previous season from that last epic battle. And he was able to get his hand back. They actually segued back to that marionette from was the second season, that wild marionette, and they actually used that. I'm glad they segued back to that. But it is kind of cool to see Rudy is back in his position at the school, like still with the magic learning part. Although that was the slower part of the season, it did have the best world building for the character and like his progression. And then seeing how all these things are starting to tie together, Eris doing her thing and improving herself, and then Rudy is going back and improving himself in the school. It makes me feel like this is the calm before the storm. There's more to see. I definitely want to see what happens when he runs into Orsted again. Like, I'm so excited to see what happens with that. This season's been fantastic. The last episode was a little slow, but it was more like a story building thing, getting back to where Rudius was doing. So I can't wait for the next episode, and I am really enjoying this season. It's probably one of my favorite seasons so far of Mushoku Tensei I've watched.
The first 2 episodes of this are everything I love about Mushoku Tensei. All the things that Rakeem was saying, the world building, the great character development, the incredible fight scenes. I hated Eris so much when this series began, but now seeing her develop, watching her strive towards a goal that she doesn't know if she can reach, and I don't even know if she can reach. It's so endearing. It's endearing to the point that I'm still rooting for her when she beats a girl so badly that she pisses herself. Like that literally happens. Like at one point, and the girl kind of deserved it. I don't know if she deserved to piss herself, but she deserved the ass whooping that she got. She was trying to like, oh, we'll show you, because they showed up. She showed up to the base. She showed up to the dojo talking mad shit. Eris did. And they were like, oh, well, we got to teach her a lesson. So they set out one of the strongest students they had. He got knocked out immediately, but Eris kind of broke the rules. She didn't even get the chance to like get set. She just kind of knocked clean out. And then the second girl, it was like, cool, use this real sword while she got this wooden sword. It's like, all right, cool. She used the real sword, broke Eris's wooden sword, and Eris was like, oh, and just stole off of her. Just like, fuck the swords. The sword broke. I just beat the hell out of you. Knocked her clean the fuck out, had her on the ground, ground and pound till she pissed herself. And I was like, that's a little humiliating. It's a lot humiliating, but you kind of earned it because you was too busy trying to teach a lesson. Like, just have the sword fight. If you lose, you lose. If you don't, you don't. But nah, she's trying to be cool about it. So I was like, but those first 2 episodes, I love those first 2 episodes. The third episode, is everything that I find cringy about Mushoku Tensei. Make no mistake, this is what you sign up for when you watch Mushoku Tensei. He is a little bit of a creep. Some of the homie elements that I loved a lot in Mushoku Tensei Season 2, they're a little more awkward now that he's got Squirtle and Bulbasaur as his wives. I'm sure it's only going to get more problematic after Charmander comes back. But, few shows can match this show when it's at its best. Now I just need Rudeus's life to be shaken up a little bit more. I know we're a good ways from it. However, when I do research for my job and stuff like that, I already spoil myself. And so all I can say is bring on the next life-changing event. Like, I'm ready for it. I know what's happening. I'm ready to see everything go. Like, holy shit, go. I want what Keem wants. I want to see more about Orsted. I want to learn more about him, how they gonna fight the dude, what happens. Let's go. But for now, this is a solid, I'm gonna say 8.5 out of 10. If it was just the first 2 episodes, it'd be a 9. It'd be a 10 out of 10. Perfect show. So can't wait for the next episode. I think it's tomorrow, or is it today?
It should be today. I don't know what time though, because it wasn't up when I checked.
Okay, so it's an easy way to get that answer. Live chart will have that for us. Episode 4. Oh,
should be
tomorrow.
4.
Tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was a
20
Saturday
hours
show.
Okay. I thought so too, but it's 20 hours from now. So there you go. So that takes us down. I only have 2 left. Will has 2 left. I'll tell you what. We're each gonna do 1 to wrap it up because we're already at 1 hour and 10.
Okay.
Will, tell us about smoking behind the supermarket with you.
Oh, okay, because I was about to say I can do chain smoking cat too now. I can go ahead and knock
No,
that
we're not
out.
finna do chain smoke. Get that up out of here.
Wow.
Fuck no. Fuck no.
That's a show.
Right, exactly.
That's the 2020s version of Welcome to the NHK.
Man,
Whoa, you putting a lot on that one, ain't it?
we are. Okay, man, but smoking behind the supermarket with you, just based off of what I watched so far, interesting, cute, and it's just fun. And this is my number one thing I'm happy about it with. Got us an adult cast, so we already off to a really good start.
Great start.
So yeah, already off to a good start, but it's just following this man in his everyday life, and he ain't really got much he can kind of see himself looking towards. You know what I'm saying? He living that Japanese salary man life. I go in this suit, I clock in, I do this work, my boss do something dumb, I leave mad, and then I go do something else I got to do after the fact. I go get my cigarettes, go to the supermarket, get my food, and go home. But he got a little something he like to do, and that's see the lady at the cash register. He like seeing her because she bring a smile to his face. You know what I'm saying?
Let me hop up in your grocery line.
Yeah, let me come holler at you real quick. Ring me up, please. I need to say something to you. But yeah, he do that every day, and it just brings a smile to his face once he goes home. But as he's going through this whole thing, and him lighting up them sticks on a regular basis, he got to find somewhere to go smoke. And one day she wasn't there, and then he wanted to go smoke somewhere. He got rid of smoke out in front, but the women said, "Look at this nasty motherfucker. Does he not have any manners?" It was 2 women walking past, and he was like, "Look at this nasty man lighting that cigarette." He's like, "Oh shit, let me." Had to hide the cigarette till he went behind the building, but then he went behind the building and found somebody else back there, red hair and all, smoking her cigarette. Sat down, talked to her, and had a good time talking to her. Then she said something, and he was like, "You smoke with cigarettes too, and you work here?" Oh my God, I really have a reason to leave work now. He was like, "Oh my God, yes, I will be back here tomorrow," and he just almost makes it like a thing to be like, "Hey, once I leave work, I'm gonna come see you later on. You trying to smoke with me or something?" It turns into that for like a little bit. It's funny because you think, oh, it's just a little simple slice of life, which it is, but for him to just be like, "I gotta go light a cigarette up behind the supermarket with my homegirl. She worked there too, but you wouldn't know it, but I do." He's like, "I know something you don't know." So it's one of the really like shows that gets like really cute, and I like it so far because I thought these episodes were like shorter from what I heard, but
So
it seems to be standard for me.
So this one's weird because all the episodes came out last month in June as mini episodes, but it looks like they're doing them again, but just taking the individual segments and making them one episode. So it's like 2 15-minute mini episodes become one episode. It's interesting.
Okay, because I remember hearing before I had watched it that the episodes were like shorter than usual regular anime episodes. I was like, oh, okay, so I can get through most of this in no time. But then I got to them and I'm like, these are the natural length episodes I'm used to seeing. So
yeah, because Crunchyroll has like 2 full-size episodes up right now, but they also have all of the mini episodes up. So it's like, I'm not sure why you wouldn't just watch the mini episodes because it's the same thing, but it's weird. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that was another part of it I was wondering about. But yeah, smoking behind the supermarket with you. Cute ass show with an adult cast by all means. If you've been looking for an adult cast, here you are. Come check it out, please. It's worth it.
Let's see. Keem, go ahead and tell us about that Solo Leveling ripoff, man. The Tomb Raider King.
I can talk about Tomb Raider King. Tomb Raider King is produced by Red Eye Studio, which actually is the publishing company that also does Solo Leveling. So they do Overgeared. So if you actually look at the covers, if you ever see the covers of the manga, they always look kind of similar. They produce all of these together. So there's a pattern here. So watching Tomb Raider King, when you first open the episode, you see a scene where you watch Solo Leveling, a whole bunch of people got slaughtered. And literally the opening is the main character being devoured by a giant snake. He's literally getting eaten alive. And as he's fighting this snake off and he's losing, and he's basically been bifurcated. He's basically cursing the name of some Korean guy. I don't know. Basically the dude he's cursing is the person who the person who ran the company that sent him there. And then you kind of, as you watch the episode, the time freezes while he's being devoured. A voice comes out. He's like, must be a relic or something talking to me. So in this world, relics are the items you get from tombs. And I'll explain how that works in a minute. The relic, it must be a relic talking to me. And he's like, man, stop laughing at me. This ain't funny. I'm trying to make it out here. He said, make it out of here, bro. Look down at your legs. You ain't got none. You ain't finna make it out of here.
Shit.
So basically, like, shows up and you hear the voice and you see it's like a crow, and this crow shows up. You know what, man? Basically, like, I want to see where this goes. Let's see what happens. So all of a sudden, you see his legs get restored, and like something's transformative happens to him, and then it kind of goes to white, and he just shows up. He's sitting down somewhere, and like he's like, "Oh man, what happened to me? I survived? What happened?" And he's sitting down, and it's like he's in the police department getting scolded by some woman for hitting her son. So at the beginning of the story, the character is 38 years old. Over the course of this story, after that event happens, he is sent into the past 15 years previously. So 15 years previously. So basically what happened was you have a combination of Solo Leveling where you have the game system, because eventually he gets like the game system thing. He's going to do, he finds out leveling up. It's not as big of a deal as it is in Solo Leveling. Like, y'all remember Solo Leveling, like when he first got the game shit, like it took a minute for him to understand what the fuck was going on. Yeah. It still was like, oh, it's a game shit? Okay. Points. All right, cool. Move on. It really ain't about that. And this guy is not Jinwoo. Like, he is not Jinwoo at all. He's not heroic. He's not sacrificing himself. This is a revenge story, but it's a revenge story where I know what to do, but y'all don't know more because I'm ahead of y'all. And if you watch him, it's like, man, this dude, he ain't nice. He kind of an asshole. So how the show works is like at a certain point in history in this year, you find out the time he's sent back to, these tombs started opening up around the world. And inside the tombs are relics. And relics have like powers and abilities. And they give people powers. Like, they don't just have powers innately. They find the relics, and the relics have abilities. And some relics appeared in the world naturally. So as the course of the show comes up, he runs into some old people he used to run with back in the day as like, like they little man, like they little, like a basically like a crime group. that has a front, like a storefront, like they're fronting as a business. And he used to run it like that little boy, and he used to treat him like shit. He was like, oh, I remember y'all. Ain't none of that going on no more. So he finds out one dudes who's like used to bully him has a relic on him, like a dagger. He's like, jackpot. This is how I make me some money. He puts in his mind like, I got to make some money. I got to get more powerful, and I got to put myself in a position to get ahead so I can get revenge on this dude. So one thing that differentiates this from Solo Leveling is that one of the major story points is when all the tombs showed up, like, in Solo Leveling, you had the portals. In this world, you had the Hunter Association. In this world, what happened was it was free range at first, and then companies started eating up the locations. You had to go to companies to get in at all. Like, they started taking over the locations. So there was like some homogenization, some government, some overlap. And one of the dudes who ran one of those businesses is one of the people who did that. So what he's trying to do is to like cut them off. He's like, you know what? I ain't gonna let y'all get this power. I'm gonna get all the relics before y'all can, so I can cut you off from getting your money and your power ahead of time. So like first episode, he gets this cool like dagger that gets him like super speed. He runs into a dungeon eventually where he throws one of the relics into some water. That's like a spirit that gives him like a puzzle, and he has to solve the puzzle to get the next relic. He realizes it's like a trick because the relic itself is cursed. It'll turn him into a serial killer if he gets it. That was kind of a cool plot twist. And also, yeah, that was a cool
of
plot
all
twist.
things.
Yeah, he said, hey, yeah, I remember this. I said, this relic, this is based off this specific myth. But I remember from the newspaper, the person who got this in my time period, when this happened, he became a serial killer. So he ends up fighting that spirit like an epic fight, gets the weapons back. And like you also find out like the CIA is involved, all these intelligence groups are involved. Everyone's basically like running to get these relics. And he's got the scoop on them. They don't even know he exists yet. So like they're getting to these places like, all right, let's get the relic. Like, ain't no relic. Somebody already got it. One funny thing that happened in the show was like one of the dudes from like the Japanese, Korean intelligence department, they have like a psychic person who tells them where to get the relics from. And every time he steals something, he get a late call like, oh yeah, by the way, the psychic forgot to tell you, watch out for a Korean dude who gonna throw some alcohol in your face. What? Oh shit, they go to Korean dude threw the alcohol in my face. Oh shit, we forgot to tell you, man. Ain't nothing gonna be there when you get there. What? Like shit funny as hell. So far it's been okay. I like it is very similar to Soul Level. Like it even has the game system. It just doesn't play as much of a big deal into it. He just kind of like, oh yeah, game system, whatever. Let me look at these relics. He kind of knows what to do already. Like with Jin Woo, he didn't know what the fuck was going on. So he had to learn gradually what was happening. In this show, I guess it was called regression when you go back. He already knows what's going to happen in the story. So instead of being like confused or having to figure, he knows what to do. So the game system just kind of like supports him a little bit, and he does all the shit himself. So he just knows where to go and get the items. He knows how to use the relics that they don't know how to use. And it's kind of like a heist. Plus. It's kind of like, it's like New Game Plus. It's like a heist kind of thing where he's going in, stealing the shit before they get there. Like, damn, he got us again. So that's kind of how the setup is. So it's very different from Solo Level, even though he looks just like Jin Woo. So far I'm okay with it. I don't know. I'm gonna watch like maybe a couple more episodes. I got to see if there's another big twist in this because it feels like, I mean, he's got such an advantage. Like I feel like he's gonna win. That's all. Like he knows where to go and where the relics are gonna be. He has so much more knowledge. He's not that powerful physically though. Like he said there earlier, like I've lost a lot of power from what I was when I was like at the peak when I was doing my job. Because he's like a 38-year-old and he's a 23-year-old now. Right. So that's a part of it. But yeah, so far it's not too bad. It's not like the typical power fantasy. It almost feels like Lupin the Third at times, sometimes too. Because it's like a heist, not a heist, but like he's going in and using his brain more so and his knowledge to win instead of like being overpowered. At least so far. Like it could change in 6 episodes and he light speed and aura farming just like Jin Woo. I don't know. But so far it's okay. Not too bad.
I was about to ask, how's his aura farming compared?
He ain't done none. Hell, the first episode he was getting eaten alive.
That'll be the end of that.
I'm not gonna lie.
He did have one moment in the first episode when he goes back and he runs into the dude who used to bully him when he first was he was like that little man. He's like, oh He's like, I got something for that. He bitch slapped that dude, bro. That was he slapped.
Damn.
He slapped him, kneed him in the face, uppercutted him, spin kick. Like, oh, okay, he got hands.
Sound like you playing Tekken now.
The way you described it, Rakeem, I was thinking this sounds like Back to the Future with the almanac.
It kind of is.
He's got the cheat code. He knows what's going to happen for the next few years.
That's
So
that's a great comparison. That's a great comparison. It is kind of like Back to the Future a little bit, yeah.
Terrence, you picked one of the more interesting anime out there that a lot of us, I meant to watch it. It's so much going on. So Jaadugar or Jaadugar.
Yeah, Jaadugar.
Yeah.
This one, man, Jaadugar, this is not like any other anime that's out this season or shoot, just in general. Like this one is, I really hope that this one gets more eyes on it because I think this one has the potential to be something truly special. First things first, it's another one being done by Science Saru. They are killing it this season. The fact that they're doing Ghost in the Shell and this one, like, man, props to them. This show looks great. The art is fantastic. Does not look like your traditional anime at all. It looks more like fairy tale-ish. It's very reminiscent of Ranking of Kings and how Ranking of Kings doesn't look like a traditional anime at all.
Anime. Yeah.
It's not.
And what's also non-traditional about this is it has nothing to do with Japan. This anime takes place in Iran. This one is on a lot of people's radar to like expose them more to like Iranian culture, at least from like a historical perspective. Like this anime is great. Like I really like this one. I can't recommend it enough. It stars a girl named Sitara, who she is from I'm trying to think like she's from this I'm trying to think of the best way to describe. She's from this family that essentially I think either her father dies or like her family is taken over, something like that. I can't remember exactly what happened, but anyway, she gets taken into slavery. And yes, this anime does have slavery. It takes place in the 13th century, I believe, 13th century Iran. So, you know, slavery is very much a thing back then. And she gets sold off. She's part of this this guy who has a bunch of other slaves, and she gets sold to a well-to-do family. This family has a woman who is a recent widow, and so she's dealing with the grief of her husband, and she needs like another housekeeper in the house. And so in addition to getting this other slave that's really good at cleaning, she also gets the little girl Sitara as part of like a package deal. And Sitara at first seems like she's not really interested in learning, or it seems like she's mute, but she's like trying to fake out the family to get to lull them into a false sense of security so that she can make her escape. And when she does try to make her escape, she gets found out by the son of the family, Muhammad, and he pretty much tells them like she was trying to make a break for it. And she just breaks down and is like, I want to go back to my family. And I'm tired of being sold around and going into places that I don't know about. I want to be back with my family. And Muhammad tells her that the best way that you can do that is to acquire knowledge and learn more. And the more that you learn, the better you can be prepared to one day maybe find your way out of this situation and get back to your family. So time passes by. Well, no, time doesn't pass by just yet. Muhammad has his whole little story where he wants to learn more. So he sets out on his own little pilgrimage to seek other scholars. And like 8 years goes by, there's letters that Muhammad sends to her and she reads to the family. And it's very wholesome at that point. And then at the end of the first episode, you find out that the son of Genghis Khan has taken down, like his army has taken down the Iranian army, and it seems like shit is going to hit the fan. I didn't get a chance to get into the second episode just yet, but I assume what's going to happen, you're going to see the aftermath of that, like Genghis Khan's son going in and wreaking havoc on the city and things just going from there. But yeah, so far this show, this is definitely one that stands out of the season, and I highly recommend it. Just the fact that it's based on a culture that you just do not get to see in anime, almost let alone in just any kind of like Western media period. I know anime isn't Western media, but just what I mean is like people in the West getting a chance to see this as an anime. Like it already has an English dub that's been announced, so it's going to be dubbed. It seems like they're taking it very seriously. So I do hope that this one really catches on, because I think culturally it's great to see something like this, and also just from an anime perspective, to see something that is so different from everything else, like from art, animation, just the storytelling. This is one that I think has potential to be like one of those anime of the year if the quality keeps up. I'll put it that way. I think we could see an anime of the year potential from this.
Okay. We running long, so I just want to get through this one last one, because obviously this is the one that I was the most hyped about and have been hyped about for about a year now. Nanoha, Magical Girl, Lyrical Nanoha exceeds Gunblade's Vengeance. Oh my god, I don't know why that title had to be that long. But yeah, I went through and watched all 4 Nanoha films to refresh myself and understand the canon of this timeline, because it was, it's just supposedly it's like the movie timeline is now separate from the classic TV shows. So I was like, okay, well, it's just 4 films. So I went back and watched all 4 films. But you don't actually need to have done that to enjoy any of this series. It opens with a new lead character. So far, Nanoha and her cast are in the background as it focuses on this new hero, Shina Kuze. Shina has this dark backstory, and this world is all fucked up. And it almost doesn't feel like Nanoha if all you know is the TV series, like Nanoha, A's, Strikers. If all you know is those, it won't feel like Nanoha. But if you're a diehard fan and you know about the Nanoha Force manga and Vivid Strike and saw the last 2 movies, Reflection and Detonation, then you know this is about in line for what Masaki Suzuki's vision for current Nanoha is. And even with that, it's not as dark Magical Girl as something like Magical Girl Sight, or certainly not in the vein of Magical Girl Spec Ops Asuka, which is super fucking dark. It's not none of that. It's more classic 2000s kind of dark. If you're looking for more from Nanoha, Fate, Hayate, the usual crew, you will be disappointed in the first 2 episodes. It's early yet, though. I love the setup. I like the combat. If you're a power scaling type, I'll let you know they made it very plain that Nanoha and the gang are still just as strong as they ever were. They just have their reasons for being undercover. That's the spoiler-free version of that. I may put this in like a separate clip, but the spoiler version is they are on another planet. Their planet is still normal. And of course, if you watch the Nanoha series, you know by Strikers, she and Fate move to another planet and live on another world. This time they've just gone to another Earth, and this Earth just happens to be infected with a group of invasive aliens, and it's weird. It's kind of like how we were moving during COVID, where it's like, okay, this is dangerous, but I'm going to work. I still got to go to work. People still got jobs. People still going to school. It's like that, where you have these alien, and it feels in the aftermath of COVID, that feels realistic. Like, society probably doesn't break down. They still probably like, hey, you got to pay this rent. You still got to come to work. What about these monsters going around eating people? Hey, man, guns work on them. You have to figure it out. Come on. And so, you have, the main character, Shina Kuze. She's going around, she hunts invasive aliens. That's what they're called, for money. And not a lot of money, apparently. She was killed, in the first episode, she kills, 3 of them. And she's like, yeah, I made 3,000 yen. And I'm like, buddy, if you know the yen to USD conversion, you're like, bro, so you did this for $30? Like, come on, man. They tighten up. You gotta pay better than this. You risk your life for this. But yeah, she picks up superpowers by the end of the first episode, and then the second episode, because the first episode is this double-length 47-episode thing. It's almost like a little mini movie, and Nanoha isn't in it at all until the very end, and in the end, she shows up as a little guest character, and then that should let you know probably about the level of involvement she's going to have. I imagine this is just Suzuki and the gang just trying to expand this to a new audience, because it's been, Strikers was 20 years ago at this point, and I think even Nanoha Vivid was 10 or 15 years ago now. So I imagine they want to reach out and get new audiences. So I'm not mad at them for that. Still, this series does feel like a throwback to the 2000s, both in terms of how the action is set up and how expressive the characters are outside of battle. There's like certain character expressions and reactions to where I was like, oh, this is kind of adorable. And like the fight scenes are still cold. So I'm having a blast right now. I'm sure there are some Nanoha fans that are like, hey, man, not enough of the protagonist of the show. Like the show, it literally has her name in the title. Why isn't she in it more? I understand. But like, hey, man, you can't always get everything you want. And I understand sometimes you got to go in different directions. So to me, so far, 9 out of 10.
Sounds good.
Having a blast. Can't wait to watch episode 3, which I think dropped while we were recording. So I'll check that out later this evening. All right, that's it for this week. What new anime are you rocking with for the summer season? Y'all let us know in the comments below. Next week, we will have a review of something special, but that's going to have to stay top secret for now. Until then, I need you to do me a few favors. If you like this episode, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you're new here, do me a personal favor. Have an excellent week. Peace.